With us now from Newton, Massachusetts, is Elizabeth Warren, a Democratic Senate candidate in that state. She chaired the Congressional Oversight Panel for the bank bailout. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
What do you hope is the fallout from this in terms of regulatory action?
Well, I'd like to see some real accountability here. I'd like to see Jamie Dimon, for example, resign from his position as a Class A director of the New York Federal Reserve Bank. You know, what's happened here is not just about JPMorgan Chase. It's about the kind of attitude that the banks should be regulating themselves rather than have real oversight. And so the way I see this is that we have to say as a country, no, the banks cannot regulate themselves. They are financial institutions that run the risk of taking down everyone's job, run the risk of taking down everyone's pension, run the risk of taking down the entire economy. And that means it's appropriate to have some government oversight. And notwithstanding the fact that we're just coming out of this huge crisis, Jamie Dimon has been the one who has led the charge in order to say, nope, no more regulation, fight back against regulation, call the regulation un-American, and resist, try to put loopholes into the regulation, hire an army of lobbyists.
Jamie Dimon,
this has really got to stop.
Jamie Dimon yesterday on Meet the Press said that he supported 75% of Dodd-Frank, which was the principal regulation to come out.
Yeah, you know, what we have to remember is Dodd-Frank itself was a compromise. And now what's happened is that the large financial institutions led by Jamie Dimon have gone after the regulators. They kind of moved it from open warfare to guerrilla warfare. They've gone after the regulations. They've tried to delay them. They've tried to put loopholes in them. They've tried to tangle them up. They've done everything they can to stick with the idea that it should be the banks that manage their risks, that the banks are the ones who can regulate themselves, and there's no need for anyone from the outside looking at them. And I think that's just fundamentally wrong. It's wrong and it's dangerous.
What regulation would have prevented JPMorgan from making this kind of trade?
Well, you know, we have to start, Charlie, by saying partly we don't know all the details about this trade, but I'm going to start with the basic proposition. Banking should be boring. Banking should not be this kind of high-risk activity. And, you know, that's what Glass-Steagall was all about. It said commercial banking, you know, the kind of stuff you and I understand about checking accounts and savings accounts and so on, should be one kind of activity, and it should be boring. It should not be taking on risks. If you want to take on those risks, you need to be somewhere else. You need to be a Wall Street hedge fund. Go do that, but keep a separation between those two.
So you'd like to see those
laws?
You'd like to see those separated. Would you also like to see the banks themselves broken up into smaller entities?
You know, it's a real question about how we're going to deal with the risks that the banks put forward right now. The larger the financial institution, the more risk it carries for the entire country. And the irony is that I was here talking about the risks posed by the largest financial institutions. In 2008 and 2009, we talked about too much concentration in the banking industry. And now here we are in 2012 with more concentration in the banking industry. The big have gotten bigger, and that's a danger.
Should Jamie Dimon have witnessed resignations on the part of the people responsible, according to what is in the papers this morning? Is that enough for you, or you still insist that he leave the New York Fed as a director?
Well, I think the importance of Jamie Dimon leaving the New York Fed is that it's a public acknowledgement that he is in a position of trust. Right now, he holds a position, think about this with the New York Fed, in which he is advising the New York Fed about the appropriate oversight of banks like his bank. And I think one way he takes responsibility for what's gone wrong is to resign from that position and say someone else should be in that public position, but that he should not be in it. And I just think that's one way to try to get a little more accountability into the system. When something happens like what's happened at JPMorgan Chase, someone needs to be accountable. And part of that is Jamie Dimon should resign from this position of public trust.
Elizabeth Warren, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Thank you.